Today's episode is titled Three Things That Feels Like It's Killing You in Your Business and the Three Things How to Fix It. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about what most of my clients say is really hurting them and hurting their business. And we're going to give you three systems that's going to help fix that. So stay to the end because the last one is usually not what you think. But in this process, I want to have you just think about your business for a second. Think about the things that keep you up at night. Think about the things that make you feel like I've bitten off more than I could chew, or the things like I'm actually burning out in my business. Does it sometimes feel to you that it just feels like this business is killing me? And if you feel that, that is exactly where I've been, exactly where a lot of my clients have been. And because of it, in time, as I grew with them, I created a system called the Be, Build, Automate system. But in order to be able to work through the system, it has to be in the order. So sort yourself out, build the systems that actually make your business go forward, not just a clutter and a mess of systems and builds, and then automate the things that actually save you time. So that's what we're talking about today, the three systems. Okay, so does your day sound like this? You wake up at 5 o'clock, by 11 o'clock, you got emails, you got WhatsApps, you forgot to send some invoices, your day got away with you, you're hardly taking lunches. If you are, you're eating on the go. It feels like you're going, but something inside of you says, I did this for freedom. I started this business for freedom, and now I am sitting stuck, and it feels like I'm working harder than ever. I wish I had an HR department to complain to, but you are the HR department. Sound like this? Sound like you? Well, if that's you, then this is going to be very helpful for you, because today what I'm going to show you is the three systems that changed my business and changed every client that I've ever worked with. Not five pillars or three specific things. And when you actually see it, you're going to notice these are the things that take up most of your time. And this is where it's actually leaking from your business. So the first thing that I want to discuss with you before I give you the systems, right? I want to show you the diagnosis, because if you understand what's wrong, you're not just going to slap plaster on a broken bone and wonder why. It hasn't, or it's still hurting in 3 months. You're going to understand that we need to fix the bone. In this case, old paramedic coming out to me. Okay, so what we are wanting to do is we have to understand something. You currently run as you are the business. That was me. That's where most of my clients are. So not, and this is, please hear me when I say this, you become the bottleneck in your business. Let me ask you this. If you had to suddenly not answer your phone for 2 weeks, what would happen to your clients? What would happen to your business? If everything went silent, could your business still carry on creating that income? Or are you the person that is the face and that is the thing that's creating the income? If it's you, all right, I want you to have a slow look at yourself and go, this system is not working. Because every one of us that's ever been in these shoes that you might find yourself in now is exactly the biggest problem that we all face as single entrepreneurs or small businesses. So be honest now. Would leads get answered in those 2 weeks? Like your phone was off. Or let's say you ended up going somewhere, now you're no access to your business, okay? Would your invoices still go out on time? Would your clients still get follow-ups? Would appointments still be able to get confirmed for when you come back? And if any of these things is no, I want you to seriously look at your business, because that means that if you for a long period of time weren't there, business would most probably fold. Okay. So think about it. It might sting a little bit while you're thinking about it, but sometimes that sting is the exact thing we need to wake us up, to get us to the next level. What you have to understand is this, where you are at, is not dedication. It's a hostage situation, people, and you are both a hostage and a hostage taker in your own business. And when I realized this, everything started changing in my life. And I know it because after I started my business when Malcolm died, and I later then started my business, right? I was rebuilding from what felt like nothing, and I was putting all my energy into the business, into every patient, into the business, into the staff, into the clients, into the vehicles, into everything that I was doing. And what it did was it started sapping out all that energy from me. And the more I worked, it felt like the less time I had, the more I worked, I perpetuated the situation, and eventually got to stages where I was like, I'm beyond burnout. And I'm sure we've all felt that somewhere in our life. And funny things start happening in this time, right? You're sending quotes, you're sending invoices, you're doing it late at night, you even taking bookings on weekends at night. You're trying to be a mom, you're trying to be a good partner, you're trying to eat somewhere in between, and you're even trying to sleep. And at the end of the day, this isn't a business. Okay, it's a job that I couldn't quit. It didn't pay me the overtime. It was paying everybody else the overtime, but not for me. And like I say, I couldn't even go to my own HR and complain because I was it. It wasn't working for me. Now, if you feel like, oh boy, this girl is talking a little bit of sense here, what I want you to do is just take a deep breath. It's all okay. Because once you understand these three things, it's going to start clearing up for you. So let me paint a picture what before looks like. All right. And I want you to count how many of these you have. So lead comes in, let's say from your website or Facebook or an ad or WhatsApp or something. Okay, lead comes in, perhaps they call you, okay, or you get an email. And 5 different channels. It's all these different places all at once. All right, think about this for a second. Okay, the lead comes in and you are so busy that you're still busy with this client. It might take a couple of hours, 3 hours later, when you suddenly remember about this and you go, oh yes, and you have to quickly reply or get to this. Now, the interesting thing is by the time you respond to the client, 78% chance that that lead has already contacted your competitor. And it's not because your competitor's better, it's because your competitor usually answers faster within 5 minutes. Okay, so that means you could lose a job just because you didn't have the time to answer or get something in front of the client at the time. That's what we call our lead response time. Okay, so now if that's you, they ask for a quote, okay? Or they ask you for a price. And in thinking back of me now, going back how I did it, you pull up an old quote, you quickly change the numbers, and you try and remember what you charged the last client in case they speak to each other. You realize the template was suddenly from 2019, and then you're trying to fix that, and then, oh, you didn't like the logo, how that came out, and you're fixing that, and then you have to make it into a PDF, and 45 minutes later, you kind of look like you got something decent, you put it on email, you send it out, yay, you did it, and guess what happens? You tend to not follow up. The client never responds, okay? And then you just assume, they went with somebody else. But actually, the client also got busy. So see all these little places that things get stuck and there's no follow-up system that happens. But the thing is, we never check because again, my Tuesday got away with me. I just wasn't there, right? I couldn't get the quote out on time, or I was late, or eventually I forgot to follow up with a client. My to-do list is longer than my arm, and it wasn't even on that to-do list. So now the other part is you actually do the work for the client, and then all of a sudden you look in your bank account and you think, oh boy, where's my money at? And then you realize, well, I didn't actually send that invoice to the client. I didn't follow up on a payment for that client because the client also forgot somewhere along the line. And this is not just me who fought this problem. Every single one of my clients are fighting the same thing. And here's the thing. we think it's an invoicing problem. It's not an invoicing problem. I thought it was an invoicing problem. Definitely wasn't an invoicing problem, right? It was the system that I had that wasn't working for me. So what you want to do here is it's that thing like out of sight, out of mind thing that happens in our business. So here's a little bit of a dirty truth about client retention. It takes 5 to 7 more times, right, to acquire a new client than to keep an existing one. Most of us spend all our energy on getting new clients, right? If you could spend it on the same old clients that you're having, you're going to have a much better retention and new work. And often we think, what else can I even offer my new client? It's not the case, because often that client would have used you because your work was good, but now somebody else was in their inbox and it was just quicker and easier just to go with the person that was in front of them at the time. So these are little things I want you to start thinking about while you're actually in your business. So if I had to put it back to my paramedical language, right? Your business has 3 bleeding wounds. Okay, slow lead responses, messy quoting and invoicing, right? And no follow-up systems. That is the 3 things that is keeping you up at night, keeping you busy, and creating holes in your bucket so your water keeps leaking out of it. Okay, so how do we go and fix this is the big question. So what would it look like if every single lead got a response within 60 seconds? Somebody WhatsApps you. Now, this session here isn't about which system should you use. I want you to think about what would work for you if you were the client. I always say to my guys is, if you have your client, where do your clients hang out? Do they hang out on WhatsApp or Telegram, on email? Where do they hang out? So you want something that could, within 5 minutes, get back to a client. Somebody say something. So perhaps it's an automation system. Perhaps it is a WhatsApp business that sends an automated message. So you need to start thinking about your clients, where they hang out, and what is the easiest system for you and for them. So there's a lot of things that we build for our clients, from big portals to chatbots that have all these answers already pre-made in for our clients that do exactly these 3 things for them. And generally, just these three things, if we build it in, they already end up with almost a day saved in the week where they actually get the time back for themselves, because all of this gets automated. No more guessing. Previously, with the build and the automate stuff and the things that we've spoken about, you know the systems on now how to build before you even find the actual tool that you're going to use to build. But what we're saying here is, once you have your build system, now what you can do is now you can go and look at the tools. So you could either have 3 different tools and pay for 3 different tools, which is kind of hard, and I've done that too, because all of a sudden you find the tools don't really always talk together. In our case, we build a complete tool that all of the tool talks to each other, right? And it's specific per client. Or we even build the Freedom OS series that you guys know about already, that already has the complete build, and you just literally plug in and start running on day 1 for a fraction of the cost where anybody else is marketing this for at the moment. Or you can do a white label, which means specifically built for you, specifically for your company, works exactly for you and your clients. Nevertheless, I want you to start thinking about, how can you respond in 5 minutes, right? Can you have an automated email and invoicing and quotation system drawn up that you literally perhaps could just, like on mine, I wonder where I put my phone. It's not here right now. But literally for me, I pick up my phone and I can talk into Telegram and say, please send X client this quote for this service. It's all pre-worked out in the back. It shows it to me on PDF in Telegram. I look at it. I say, yes, that's good. Send. It sends it on email to the client. So that's how it works now. I don't sit like I used to, trying to figure out each one, trying to figure out a price, trying to figure out a template. I literally talk, check, is it correct, and I send it. And then the follow-up system, so I'm not the one following up on my invoices if they're paid. Now my system follows up every X amount of days that I do it for the client, reminding clients and saying, if you paid, please send a POP so we can have a look and just mark it as complete. So you see, all that extra time, if you end up with all this time, what are you going to be doing in your business with all the extra time? And I bet it's going to be either grow the business or just take some time off. Because most of us get to a point in our business where we stop growing the business for the simple reason that we just don't have the time anymore. We are like rhinos stamping out fires as they come. So if any of this speaks to you today, think of the 3 systems that you need. How can you answer within 5 minutes of getting a query, even if it's a chatbot or it's maybe something like WhatsApp Business that has an automated response, sending them to websites? Is it a chatbot, something like that? Or is it something like in your website that would immediately answer back, that you could automate that for them with some information that they need? Or do you have a chatbot perhaps on your website where all that information that they need is on there? What about booking systems? Can they book online so you don't have to do that too? These are little things to start thinking about saving your time. So once invoices are done, maybe something like the Telegram system, or you've got an automated system going for you and something following up on your invoices, coming in, sending them out, and making sure your money's in the bank without you stressing halfway through the month. That is definitely something. And then retaining those clients. How do you retain those clients? Is it by automated mails that you're sending out? Is it by webinars or invitation? Like, how do you do it? Once you know the system, how you do it, now go and look for a system that actually does that. And remember, we're here for you. If you want to have a discovery call where you can figure out like what's good for me and my business and how would this work? Would it even work for me? Give us a call and let's have that discovery call with you and see how we can help you. But you need to start thinking about growing the business. You need to start thinking about holidays and you need to start thinking about your family. You cannot keep running around being the rhino. So that is the message today, is to the 3 things that I would automate first if I had to redo this whole thing over again. Those will be my 3 first things. So we look forward to seeing you again next week. Comment below, what are the 3 biggest time blocks or things that steal your time from you? And what else do you want to learn about in business and think about automating? We can surely make videos on that. See you soon. Cheers.